With sunsetting and the launch of Beyond Light, a lot of new snipers in the current season all have one thing in common. Their zoom magnification is much higher than what we're used to. If you're a Revoker or Beloved main last season, you now know that you have to look for a different sniper if you're going to go into light leveled enabled playlists such as Trials or Iron Banner. So you may catch yourself struggling with these new snipers, and if that's the case, this video is going to be for you. In this video, we're going to be retraining your brain on some of the mechanics that can assist you in landing shots with these telescope magnification zooms. But before we start, if you want to support the channel, you can do so easily by watching the entire video and clicking that like button. But without further delay, let's get into the video. Let me get into some background of new and old snipers. Snipers such as Revoker and Beloved are some of the lowest zoom snipers we have in Destiny. These snipers have a zoom of 35 for the Revoker and 40 for the Beloved. But with our new snipers such as the Cloud Strike, the Adored, the Eye of Soul, all of these that were released this season and last season all have a zoom magnification of above 45, which it doesn't seem like much, but with a higher magnification, it will cause some errors in your aiming. So what you can see on screen is a zoom magnification from the Revoker. It is a 35. As you can tell, your target is a little smaller, but you have more area around your target. So if your target tends to run, tracking them is easily done with snipers such as the Revoker or the Beloved. But when we get into snipers like the Cloud Strike and the Adored, you have more magnification. So if your target is running, tracking them can be troublesome. On the topic of magnification, when you ADS these new snipers, you no longer have visual of the surroundings on your target, meaning you don't see as much. This is something real noticeable when utilizing the Revoker. You had the ability to see your target and any surroundings near them. This is something players utilized a lot when utilizing the Revoker. They had the ability to hardscope a lane and still had surrounding vision of them. They were able to see if a target went a different direction. If an enemy decided to go down a different lane, they could still make adjustments. But with these new snipers with higher zoom, you can't see those surroundings anymore. This is why we're going to get into some tips to help you land more headshots with these new magnifications on these snipers. This brings us into tip number 1, which is going to be look before you ADS. How many of you have ADS'd your sniper only to lose sight of your enemy while in the process of zooming in? When using these new snipers, something that I want all of you to do is to look and point with your sniper before you ADS. This is going to allow you to stay on target and not lose sight of your enemy. By doing so, you will not only be keeping an eye on your target, but if you need to make minor adjustments to your crosshairs, this can be easily done. With these higher zoom snipers, as you can tell on screen, when I ADS, I want to be able to make minor adjustments. By already having my crosshairs closer to my enemy's head, I can do those adjustments. But if I ADS and I'm nowhere aiming at them, I now have to make a major adjustment, and with these higher zoom snipers, it's a little more difficult. But what if you ADS and maybe you didn't look before you aimed? Do you track your target while it was zoomed in? Do you stay ADS trying to find him? This is one thing that players get confused a lot. They tend to look for their target after being zoomed in. This is where we get into part 2 of tip 1. If you do not need to be zoomed in, unscope, reacquire your target, and follow step 1 over again, which is going to be look before you aim. The last thing you want to do is waste time being scoped in and scanning for your enemy. Remember, every time you ADS, you're putting yourself at a high risk since you no longer have an active radar and an enemy could sneak up on you and clean you up from a distance for an easy kill. Now let's move on to tip number 2, which is something that has helped me a lot with these new zooms on these snipers, which is aim head level. Now hear me out before you say,
Brave, this is obvious.
With higher zoom snipers, making minor crosshair adjustments is difficult given the zoom magnification. When aiming down a lane, your goal is to aim head level. This is going to allow you sufficient time to make the proper adjustment needed to kill your target. If you're thinking that this isn't necessary, it sure wasn't as necessary when utilizing the Revoker or the Beloved, since you could easily drag snipe or swing snipe easily. But with more zoom magnification, you can easily overshoot your target, and now you're back at step 1 having to reacquire your target. You're probably wondering why this is. It's for the fact that Revoker and Beloved were lower zoom snipers, less magnification, meaning you had more real estate on screen. But with these new snipers, since they're so zoomed in, there's more magnification to them, you have less real estate, meaning the ability to overshoot your target is there. And remember guys, when you're making minor adjustments, the last thing you want to do is waste time looking for your enemy's head. You want to aim head level. Now let's move into tip number 3. And normally I would say find a lane and fight from there, which is true. But if you're going to approach a contested lane, you're gonna wanna slide into that fight and ADS at the same time. With some of these snipers, the last thing you wanna do is slowly ADS into the fight. This is what I like to call cutting the pie, where you slowly ADS and you slowly cut the pie with your sniper while you're zoomed in. Now, cutting the pie is great for weapons like hand cannons and auto rifles. Shoot, cutting the pie was great for the revoker, but with these new snipers, you can't really cut the pie since there's more magnification. If you plan on cutting the pie with the Adored or the new CloudStrike sniper, there is a high probability that you will either die or not see your target or be too slow to react. The reason for this is due to the real estate you now have with these snipers. Now, if you can't cut the pie, how do I engage? Well, it's simple. You have to pair tip 1 and tip 2 together, which is when you slide into a lane, you first want to look at where your sniper is pointing. Then you want to ADS, adjust the head level, and finally make adjustments necessary needed to land a headshot. Now, I'm not saying cutting the pie is a bad tactic, but make sure it's not the only tactic in your playbook. Be a well-rounded sniper and have multiple ways to engage. I personally still cut the pie, but when I need to, I will slide into a lane and use tip 1 and 2 to get the kill. But what do I gain from sliding into a lane? This is going to give you an advantage. For starters, it will throw your enemy off. If they're hard scoping the lane, they now need to unscope and reacquire you, or if they are still zoomed in, they need to now track you. This is why when you slide into the lane, you're getting the advantage on the hard scoping player. The second advantage you get from this is making yourself a smaller target and a harder target to hit. By sliding into the lane, you will be keeping your body low to the ground. A lot of players who hard scope lanes, who just sit there all day scoped in, have a tendency just to aim head level. By you sliding out and aiming at them right away, they now have to adjust to your head, which is going to be lower because you're low to the ground. Again, I know some people are asking, can this be done on console? Or can this be done on a controller? Yes, easily. You just need to practice it. I want to end this video with some advice and helpful tips. For starters, flinch isn't as forgiving as it used to be, especially with higher zoom snipers. Sometimes flinch has the ability to help you land shots, but with these new zooms, flinch is a bit more severe, again, given the real estate you now have on screen. My only advice is if you don't have the shot, then you don't have the shot. Sometimes it's better to stay alive rather than die to flinch. Lastly, something that has helped me a lot are mods. From sniper rifle targeting mods to sniper rifle dexterity mods. Each of these mods can really help. Sure, it might be minor, but hey, even a minor adjustment, minor help can help you go a long way with your sniper. At the end of the day, the only thing that is going to help you improve with these new snipers is using them. I know it's super easy just to revert and go back to the revoker or the beloved. When you can't land a shot to save your life, you're like, oh no, I got to go back to the revoker. I got to go back to the beloved. But you need to resist that urge. It's not worth it. All you're going to be doing is setting yourself back when it comes to light leveled enabled modes like Trials and Iron Banner. Guys, remember, these new snipers take a little bit of extra time to learn how to use them. But I promise if you follow some of these tips, you'll be better off with them. Stop treating these new snipers like the Revoker and like the Beloved, because they're not. They're higher zoom. And with these higher zoom snipers, you just got to go back to sniping fundamentals. If you're someone looking for a full guide, Brave, I need more tips on sniping, then you might want to check out my master sniping guide, where I go into detailed tips for anyone looking to improve sniping shots or just improve with the sniper in general. Also, for those looking to use the Adored in the Crucible or Strikes, I made a video on some of the best setups for the Adored. Both videos will be on screen now. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, you guys are the real MVP. Remember, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click that like button and share with your friends. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications. Guys, these next few weeks, I'm going to be showcasing some of my favorite Crucible loadouts, some of the loadouts you need to be using just to have fun in the Crucible, what I go into the Crucible with every day. With that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.